So what do you notice is different about this part than anything we've done so far?
Different size holes?
Part of it. I've got two holes inside of each other, right? What's that called? No. What? No.
Symmetric?
No. It's called a countersink, right? So you can have the head of a bowl lower. Well, what about that hole is different? What's different about this hole than that hole or that hole?
They don't have the hole in it.
Besides that,
Angle?
remember when we were talking about making views?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was one of the requirements for making a view?
Show the side with the most.
But beyond that. So how did we know how many views we needed? What was one easy way to tell? What was that? Anybody?
The most dramatic side?
Oh, yeah, I'll have a front view here.
Yeah.
So I've got a front view there, got a top. Yeah, actually I should go above it, right? There. Now, so I've got a top, a front. Ooh, here, look at that hole. I can see right through it, right? I can see right through that hole. Can I see that hole where it's round? Is that hole round right there when I'm looking at it? Can I use a compass for that?
No.
No, right? So remember, one of our rules was you want to be able to look at a hole where you can see it round. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't see it round there. Would I see this hole round on the side view?
No.
No, right? What is that shape called?
Oblique?
What's another name for an oval?
Ellipse.
An ellipse.
Ellipse, okay.
Is it the same ellipse that you use for isometric?
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's not the same one you use for isometric. Because how wide or how flat it is depends on the angle of this thing here. Right? If you're looking straight out at this circle, the more you angle it, this measurement stays the same, right? This measurement's always staying the same.
Yeah.
But as you turn it, this measurement is getting thinner, depending on how extreme the angle is. So that's what we're seeing here. The side view, we're not going to see that hole around either, right? We're going to see it, and it's going to be even flatter because this is kind of there, right?
Yeah.
So how would I draw a view looking at that? So I have this here. Oh, do I want to take this and kind of flip it up that way, right? Can I do that? Usually I flip it this way. Can I flip it that way? What do you think? Yes, no.
Would that be top view?
Part of it. You
No, that's
just
top
wanna-
view.
You just want to kick that face out of it.
So we move that down a little bit so you have some space. So yeah, I can take this and go that way. Make that. That's perfectly fine. That's called an auxiliary view. So it's not a primary view, it's auxiliary. It's extra. So I can do that. How am I going to line that up?
Even with all the other ones.
From these lines, I'm going to project them, right?
Project, yeah.
Just like I would project it up, or I'm going to project over. Now I'm going to project them this way. Which angle is that? Is it going to be here? What angle do I need to project that?
30 degrees.
How do I know it's 30? 30 degree would be about there. Is that right? No. It's not right. How would I know what angle? How do I project it if I'm going to the top? 90 degrees, right? So this plane, I'm going 90 degrees up. So we can do what's called a folding line. So right here, there's an imaginary line right there. And so this is kind of going over the box. Remember our box? Remember our fold right here?
Yeah.
The fold right here where the hinges? That's the blue line. Hinge it out here. We'd have another one right there in this distance. So from the folding line to the stuff on the right side view, from the folding line to points on the top view is the same. Right? This here is the same as that there. Right?
Right.
So now we're going to do the same thing, but instead of folding it out to the side, we're going to fold it this way. So, make a line there. I can have a folding line parallel to that. I can also, how do I get a line parallel to that? What's a way I can get that line parallel to that one? If I take my triangle, and I put it there, that's 90 degrees, right?
Yeah. That's 35 degrees.
Oops. So if I put that there, I take another triangle, that now this line and that line are parallel, right?
Yeah.
Or if I take these two and I do this, now this line and that line are parallel, right? So I can do that too.
Yeah.
That way this is line on it, and I can use that to draw it in. So that's how I can get that. Now I can measure that distance in there. This line could be all the way on the front of the part. And that way when I start drawing, I would start drawing right off that line. If that was down, then I'd start drawing up here somewhere, right? Whatever that distance is, I'd draw there. So that can be moved further out. Since I haven't drawn anything here yet, I can move this line wherever I want it. I should do it there. And now when I draw, take that distance, make my construction line there. So that's that. Okay? Same thing I would do on the right side view, right? I'd measure from the front of the part back. If the front of the part's not straight, I'd look at the grids and count up, right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same way we do it there. Drawing out perpendicular lines. Easy as well. Just line up our thing and draw a line on the triangle. And we slide it down and draw it up. Okay? So we go from where the corners are. Here I don't know where this was, so I could project that down. So now I know that hole is going to go something like that. And now from here I can go up this way. So you guys got the basic concept before I started doing that hole? So that hole we can't really see here. But once I got it here, whatever that distance is. Now I can actually measure up and draw that hole in. Wherever that is, right? So usually I'd probably draw this first and then work it back, or I'd figure it out somehow. So here's one. I've already got the front view. And I've got kind of an area for top, an auxiliary, and side view. Then I've got the side view there. What should I do? What views do I need? Do I need all three of those extra views? No? Which one don't I need?
You don't need that side view.
It says I don't need a side view. Is that right? Do I need a side view?
No.
No. What is this side view going to show me that I can't see here or here? If I'm looking at it from the side view, all I see is this inclined plane with some ellipses on it. Doesn't really show me anything new. So I don't need it. I'll do it anyways to show you how, but it's not a needed one. So if you're doing it by hand, you wouldn't do it. Also the top view, look at the grid. Why is that grid not all the way over here? People in this class.
Because
I don't know.
so it has to be lined up with it.
Is looking at this part
Yeah.
from the top going to show me anything? No, right? It's going to show you the exact same thing I would have seen in the side view. So it's not going to show me anything new. It's going to make it harder to draw, harder to understand, so I don't need it. So what we're doing is we're doing partial views. We're going to do a partial top view, because we really only care about this piece here, right? We care about this piece here on the top.
Yeah.
It's got to cut out there. We care about this piece here on the auxiliary. We don't care about looking at the top, this part on the auxiliary, because now that's going to be at an angle, right? So we're only going to show the parts that we're looking straight at. It makes drawing it a lot easier. It also makes it easier to understand when you go to read it. Okay? So, how am I going to get started? What am I going to do first?
Project?
Which view should I do first?
Top.
Yeah, I'll do the top. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
Might as well do it first. So I'm going to project just like I always do. I'm going to go from that corner up, from that corner up. That doesn't line up with the grid.
Nope.
Should I move it over?
Nope.
No, leave it where it is.
That's how it is.
Leave it where it projects. Don't try and move stuff over to line up with the grid. That corner there, should I project that up? What's this corner here? Why isn't that one lined up with this one? Why aren't these two corners lined up vertically?
Because that's where the bend is.
That's where it's changing. So what do you know because of that?
And then there's somewhat of an angle.
Yep, you have the angle.
Yeah.
So what else do we know about it?
You
It's
won't
probably the
see
same
it.
thickness, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if it was the same, if it was different thicknesses, it could line up with there. Because this would be thinner.
Yeah.
But if it's the same thickness all the way through, these points can't line up. So that's something to think about when you're making drawings. If it's the same thickness, your corners are not going to line up straight up or down or across. It's a big mistake that a lot of people make, is they try and make these points line up. Don't. Just go up or that way, and then wherever they cross, that's the corner. Okay? So I have that up, and I'll project that. So I never got around to projecting that. Do I need to project that corner?
No.
It depends. You really don't need to. If you wanted to, if this was a lot steeper and it was further over, maybe, you really don't have to, because we're actually just drawing the top of this now. We don't care about the bottom side.
You wouldn't see it.
So it's up to you. Give them a shake.
Sorry about that.
So there's the top. Right here, because that's a sharp corner, I can have a solid line right there. What happened if that wasn't a sharp corner? What it would, if it was a line? I don't know if this is going to work. Of course, it's not going to work. So, whatever. And that's going down the hill, right? Let's say this is going down that way. There's no sharp corner there. Would we draw a straight line here?
No.
No. Because there's no edge there to draw from. We could draw this kind of right there to the middle of the curve. There's no definite point, so there's no wrong place to do it. But what we're going to do for that is move that out of the way somewhere. If it was that, what I'd do is I'd have my piece here, and then I'd do that. That's called a short break line. And it's just a thick line with a squiggle. Don't get over happy and make it go real back and forth like I'm having a stroke or something. It's just a nice curving line like that, okay? Any questions? So that's if you have a curve. If you have a corner, just come from the corner. We could also make this if these weren't the same length, so if this was shorter or longer, I could make part of it here. So let's say this was an extra 2 over there. Say it was like that. And then this one straight down like that. Right? So it was like that. You got that, and then we have the auxiliary. Auxiliary is going to be a different size than this one is. How do you know where it goes if you didn't have the isometric? How would you know which one goes where?
By lining up by the corners.
Yeah, you might be able to guess by looking at this and see that it's straight. So it'd actually have like, I would have that. I can actually do something like that instead. But if you really want to see, what you could do is you would draw like that. Now you definitely know, okay, that piece is 4 wide is here on the front, there's nothing in the back. So we can do that short break to show that. Okay, does that make sense? We're going to go back to how I had it. So there we got that. What's next?
The auxiliary.
No, we start on the auxiliary, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take my triangle. Line it up. Go from that corner. Bring it up. Move my triangle down to that corner. It's not going on the lines. Go to that corner, bring it up. Or those two inside lines.
Apex of the center line.
What was that?
The apex of the.
Yeah, it's the top, like top and bottom of the slot, right?
Right.
And you can look here, it's going straight along that line. So I'm going looking at straight. That's straight. So. Oops. Go there. Or go there.
Oh, yeah, we're using that.
So it's 1 inch. That outside one's supposed to be gone. Looks like that. So that's going to be a little bit lower. So I'm just going to bring my compass over. So if I bring that up to here, now I can set the radius, right? Now I can just turn it with that same radius so it lines up there. Move it down to there. Now I know where my center is. There. Sure, I'll change that color. There it is.
Could you do that one more time? Where you set the compass initially and then took it up and then you moved it?
I put the center on the cross there,
Okay, center point.
and I know the radius is that way,
Okay,
so I set the radius this way.
okay.
So I know that distance.
Yeah, that's.
And then I just turned it up,
Uh-huh.
and I moved it up and down until the lead touched that top line.
It's off a little bit.
I got you.
Yeah, it's off a little.
I got you.
See, that's what happens when you do it twice. Here.
I wasn't talking about that, it's not that towards the bottom.
Where?
On the curve,
On the curve, at the bottom curve.
Oh,
up,
that. Yeah.
right there.
There.
There you
Wow. Pretty tricky.
So, any questions? That's all there is to it. Auxiliaries are not hard. It's the same thing we're doing before, but now instead of going straight, we're going at an angle. Piece of cake,
go. A lot
right?
more construction lines.
Not really.
Huh?
I would have done all these same lines going this way. So it's really about the same. It's just I'm doing it at an angle instead of straight. That's it. Questions? All right. So today we have So we have AUX 1A here. So this looks a little familiar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have this one. This one, if you count the squares, it doesn't work out to be in a circle. So if you count this, this is 2 squares up, right? And if you count here from the center line out, it's 2.5. So that measurement, the radius going out to the side should be the same as the radius going up. So they messed up when they drew this. So what I want you to do is draw it an extra 1 high. Use the same center location here, but just make it up 1 more. Okay?
Up a half?
Yeah. Up a half. Okay? So that way you don't have to because what they did is, I don't know what they did.
This is our lab.
Yeah, this is the practice for today. The lab is this one, 2A.
That doesn't look fun.
So there's 2A. Some things to look out for is that when you're doing the auxiliary, you care about everything on this top half. So you care about all of that. Okay? So don't just go by the very top stuff or the middle. Care about all those points. Okay? You can see here the line isn't lined up right on the front of the part either. So take that into account. Here, all you care about is the circle part.
Yeah.
Count your squares. Count how far back things go and project. That's the biggest thing people do is they forget to count or they forget to project things right. Okay? So, let's say this point here is that point. There, right? So project it down to find what point, and then from there, it goes there. Questions?
Ooh, wow.
This is easier than the last lab.
Which one are you talking about?
All the previous ones.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Right.
yeah.
The very last one, the round one. That's pretty straightforward. All you're doing is circling. No isometric, just drawing circles. Questions?
So the auxiliary view would be the top part of that view?
You're doing this whole. You're doing this whole.
Looking
thing.
up at you, right?
You're doing that whole thing. That's auxiliary.
Just taking it and flipping it that way?
Nah. Except you don't need to do anything on the very bottom, because everything on the bottom is going to line up something else on the top.
Exactly.
Questions? All right. Have at it.